What's up, y'all?
Hey guys.
So, it's time to subscribe. I don't really know what to say to get to that, but who cares? Just subscribe and shut it. We don't want them to shut it.
No,
Oh.
don't shut it, guys.
Okay.
Just subscribe.
Live from Washington, D.C., you're listening to Just John and April on the Lance J. Radio Network.
Just between you and me, this is nothing. There's no tricks. Ooh, there's nothing. Just between you.
Welcome to Just John and April,
This is nothing.
the relationship podcast, your place to level up your intimacy.
This is nothing.
We are
Just what do I have to do
WLDC,
to know?
KIXI 880 AM Seattle, and WWWE The Real 1100 Atlanta, Georgia.
ATL.
Yes. What's up, y'all?
Hi guys.
We're excited to be back, even though you don't know we were gone, because this is the same, exact time we're always on here. We
I
went
know.
away this weekend to do something that we haven't done in a long time. We did an in-person marriage weekend for the first time in I don't know how long.
It has been
2 years?
Oh man, the first time we did it since we hadn't done it before that.
I mean, I'm saying, did we
I
do
guess
it
during the pandemic.
we didn't do it at all during the pandemic, right? No, we did
no,
one in
it's in
person.
Miami.
Well, but
And
then
nobody was there. We were just
Right.
in person in the building.
Yes.
But nobody really was there.
we went physically to do a retreat by Zoom in their building. That's
Right.
true. So nobody was really there. That's a good point.
Yeah. So this was the first time in a long time that we've done something with people.
Yes, it was fun.
It was really fun.
I enjoyed it
First of
thoroughly.
all, the group of people that we were with were just so fun.
It was a great group.
Great
That's
group.
Definitely true.
It's always the group that, of course, the content,
Yeah.
makes it.
Yeah.
Makes it a real thing. But I'm just saying, like, if the group is boring,
Yes. Because I was just
it
about
can
to
actually
say.
ruin the time.
Yes, I agree.
Even
with
if you
that.
have good information.
You're right.
You know?
You want them to interact with it well. You want the group to
Yeah.
have fun. You want them to be smiling and laughing and
Exactly.
enjoying it and stuff like
and
that.
I
That's
thought
true.
this group was great.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah,
It was amazing.
they
So
were fun.
we were in Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, right outside of Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be a 4.5-hour trip. We took it on Friday after school and it took us like 6 hours.
6 hours, which was fun because we got some time together.
Oh, that was nice. Yeah, we left the kids. So, that was cool. It was just the two of
And
us.
it was actually really nice. Even on the way back, it was like.
Now, on the way back was great because it was 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours.
Like it
And
was
we were
supposed
just
to be.
chilling.
Yes. But
You
on the
know.
way there, I actually felt,
I guess you were the one driving.
yes. And so, and I you know what I don't like? I just want to be able to put my cruise control on, stay in the left-hand
Yeah,
lane and just go. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying?
Yeah.
And I couldn't really do that.
No,
I had
I
to
get
keep
that.
hovering over
I
the brake
know.
and then slamming on it. So it was too
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
man.
yeah.
So it was a little bit, it wasn't really stressful. But it was a little bit stressful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, but it was fun, and I'm glad.
And
glad
getting
to be
there
home,
right
too.
before it was time for us
Right.
to
No. Literally. So the thing starts at 7. We come in at like 7:05. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't like that, man.
I know you don't. I know you had a hard time with that, baby.
Yeah. But it was but it was still great. I mean, the people didn't seem like they were doing their thing. So obviously, someone invited us to come. So it was their weekend and we were just the guests. So that made it better. If it was
Yeah.
our weekend and,
Of course, that would have been stressful. more
of course,
stressful.
it would have been much worse.
No, it was really fun. It was a nice time away. And I'm glad we're back home. I'm glad
too.
we came back, got back safely, and
Okay, so
ready for the week.
before we get into the topic, because the topic we basically got from this weekend, and that's how it works. Because we're interacting with people and stuff, and that's how we get our stuff most
Yeah,
of
we
the
get
time.
our stuff from what happens.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
but before we get into that, I just want to ask you a question. What did you like the most about this weekend? What was your favorite thing?
What was my favorite thing?
Yes.
Honestly,
What was your
my
favorite?
favorite thing was when we talked about. I mean, the whole time we were talking about sex, but
Yes, the whole weekend was
the whole
about
week was
sex.
about sex. But my favorite thing was when we said something about sex and everybody laughed about it.
Yes,
That was my favorite.
that happened a lot.
Yeah, because I don't know why you get giggly when you talk about sex.
Yes,
you know what I'm
that's
saying?
true.
So it was really fun to laugh about things that we go through or just things that you discover, and it's fun.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed laughing at
Yeah,
the different jokes that came out of the conversation.
Yeah,
That was a lot
good.
of fun.
So
What was your favorite?
You know what? I underestimated the difference between doing what we do virtually and doing it in person. I think the thing I liked the most was the in-person part. So,
Yeah.
okay, so when we do our stuff virtually, we do our boot camps and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We can see everybody, in their box online. We can see their faces. They can see ours. We can hear each other, all that kind of stuff. But there's a couple differences. When we say something online, you don't get the immediate feedback of whether or not what you just said is actually connecting.
You don't.
You can look around the boxes and see the faces
but
and
some
stuff
people
like
have
that.
their cameras off too.
Some people are muted. Most of them are muted.
Yeah.
They don't have the, it's because it's
It's
Zoom or whatever.
true.
So the thing I liked the most was the way you could feel the energy in
Yes.
the room.
Yes.
So when we talked about things that were uncomfortable, you could feel
Yeah.
the discomfort
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
room.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
When we talked about something that was funny, like you said,
Right.
you could feel the joy
Or that
and laughter.
everyone could
you know what I'm
relate
saying?
to.
Correct.
You could feel-
the feedback was immediate.
Yes.
So
there's nothing like it.
and
I think that's
there
why I
isn't.
enjoyed this weekend so much.
Same with me.
Because we haven't had that in a long time.
And here's what I equate it to. I don't know if it's like this or not, but I listen to a lot of comedians. I assume that that's what stand-up feels like. That's the only thing I can think of. And the guys that make millions of dollars, that have these sitcoms and all that kind of stuff, they love doing stand-up because they said there's no feeling like getting a laugh
Connection.
immediately
Right.
when you say something. You know what I'm
But it's
saying?
a
You know if it was
connection.
fun.
It's a
Yes,
connection.
It is.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like we got. We had a
Yeah.
connection this weekend with our audience
Yeah.
that was better than when we do it online. Though I think it's good when we do it online too. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's definitely good online, but I'm just saying, like, and especially when afterwards people can express how they
Yes,
felt.
exactly.
But during, you're right, you don't get the immediate feedback.
Correct. It's not. Yeah.
So, and it's the same with school.
Yeah,
I
right.
love. I don't even. You
don't wanna do,
We loved being home
yes.
and being able to, but I don't.
During
I do
during the
not
quarantine.
want school to close again.
Exactly. We need
Because it was because it was just not as good as it is in person with the
Right.
kids. So it's
Yeah.
the same kind of
Yeah.
thing. So, yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the topic. So somebody asked you a question on the opening night, and the question threw you off a little bit. And so I wanted to talk about that a little bit because there were some implications to that question. In fact, I think in my mind, I thought the person was going somewhere else with the question, and I kind of started thinking about it. And of course, that was what I was thinking about was a little off topic, so I didn't, follow it. And I said, well, maybe we should just talk about it on the show. The question the person asked you was, what do you do? They were asking you, April. They said, April, this question's for April. What do you do to make yourself feel sexy? And when she said it, I immediately thought, I wonder if April would have answered the question differently if she said attractive. Like, what do you do to make yourself feel attractive? You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
Well, that's the way that's what
That's
I
what you thought she
it
was
was.
saying.
Yeah,
Right,
because
okay.
I was like, women, when we want to feel attractive, we go get our hair done, we go to a spa, get a spa day, get your nails done, all that kind of stuff. And then I was like, wait a minute, is that what she's asking? And then as I'm answering, I'm like, maybe that's not what you're asking. And then thought about it again. I was like, And then later, like I really didn't answer her question. And then later I thought about it and came back the next night and said, you know what, let me answer your question because I didn't answer your question.
So what'd you say?
So I said that what makes me feel sexy is John. Like my husband does things to make me feel sexy. So I said he tells me often that I look good. He's constantly, when I come just walk into the room, he's like, and that immediately just make me feel like, ooh, thank you, honey,
Yeah.
because I think that's a good thing because I don't have to worry about, I guess I don't have to be the one to make myself feel sexy, because I feel like if I was responsible for that, it would not happen often because it's so up and down
Right.
with how I'm feeling that month or
Yes.
that time. I might be
Right.
like, not
Right.
feeling too good,
Right.
So it wouldn't be a consistent thing for me if I
Yes.
had to be the one.
So then that
So I
kind
appreciate that, babe.
Well, I'm glad you appreciate it.
Yeah, I do.
So here's the thing that it made me think about, and this is the real question for the episode: whose responsibility is if you're in a relationship, if you're married, if you are engaged, if you've been dating and you're serious about one particular person, whose responsibility is it for the person feeling attractive, desired, sexy, whatever the word is you want to use? Is it a wrong expectation for me to say that I need my spouse to help me feel that way? Or should it just be my responsibility? Should I just do things for myself to make myself feel attractive?
Okay, so I think some people would say that you need to be responsible for that.
As
the individual.
Oh, the individual. Okay, not the spouse.
I do, not
Okay.
the spouse.
Okay.
And I said you, but I meant
Yes.
you as in, yourself.
Yourself, okay.
Because I'm just going to tell you what I think different people would say.
Please.
I think one group would say
Yeah.
it needs to be you because you can't depend on somebody else
Okay.
to make you feel good.
Okay.
About
Yes.
yourself physically.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
And I agree that at some level, I agree that you should have a positive outlook on yourself physically.
Okay.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay. But then you have another group that I think would say, I don't have time. I don't want to think about that. Like,
Okay.
I don't want to have to think about making you feel good about yourself physically.
Oh, you're saying like a husband might say, "Shoot, why should I have to do that?"
Right.
That kind
And
of thing.
not care who it is. Just the point is, I shouldn't have to do it.
Okay.
Because that's too much work.
Yes.
Okay. Somebody who may not be, who can verbally give that or remember it. You know
Yes,
what I mean? Like,
yes.
it could just be, I go throughout my day, I don't remember to say
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That kind of thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then I think there's another group who would say it is the partner's responsibility to make the other person feel sexy, make
Yes.
the other person feel attractive.
Yes.
So out of the three that I just said, which one would you say that you would say should be the
Okay. I'm glad you
not
asked me that.
necessarily what you do, but what you think should be for relationships?
So I actually want to tell you what I do, and then I'll tell you what I think too.
Okay.
Okay. So here's what for whatever reason, I don't know why, but
Mm-hmm.
I've just taken it upon myself. I feel like that's my responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, okay, so years ago, we read a book, and in it talked about, basically, it kind of opened my eyes to this thing that I didn't know you were dealing with, which is, it basically said that if your wife is like most women, it says not all women are like this, but some women are like this. If your wife is like some women, let's just say some instead of most, she probably is going to be insecure about how you feel about her, especially things like how she looks, how she, whether or not she's desirable, things like that. And so I think I always felt that way, but when I read that, I said, oh man, I don't ever want April to feel like I don't think she's attractive, because I think first of all, I think you're drop dead gorgeous, but I also think you are very sexy. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying that online, but on the air, but I'm very attracted to you. And so instead of just thinking it,
Yeah.
I just say it out loud as much as, like, every time I think it, I just say it. And I feel like if I can contribute to you being confident about something that I actually don't think you should be unconfident about. Like, there are some things that I would say, okay, maybe April should be a little bit self-conscious about that. Like,
Are you about to embarrass me?
I hope it's not embarrassing. But I was going to say, like, for instance, you should be self-conscious about, being able to just let somebody else drive.
What?
You're always trying to tell me how to drive.
Oh my goodness.
I'm saying, if you want to be
That's
self-conscious about something,
that's not a good
be
one.
that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying you should not be self-conscious about, like, how you look. Like, and you've been bigger because we've had kids, and you've been smaller because you were sick. And in every one of those cases, I still thought you were amazing looking. So to me, that should never be a thing. So I'm like, okay, if I can contribute to April never feeling like this isn't an issue, then I'm going to do that. And it seems easy, actually. It doesn't feel like a burden. It's not a problem. I don't have an issue with that. Now, whether or not I feel like it has to be my responsibility, I don't know if that's, I wouldn't agree with that. I
Right,
would
that's
say
what I'm
it's something that I
asking,
actually
yeah.
love providing. For me, it feels like it taps into my provider nature.
Okay, so I want to know, do you feel like a guy or a girl is wrong if they don't feel like it's there? That they
no,
should do that.
I do not think they're wrong. I do not think that.
So do you feel like, so you don't feel
But I would
like,
I would take time to convince them. I would try to convince a person who thinks it shouldn't be their responsibility. I would try to show them why it's a good idea that they try to do it. And I would tell them what the benefits have been for me and what the benefits could be for them. But I don't think it's necessarily wrong.
Yeah, I
know
don't
what I'm
either.
saying?
And I think you have to know your partner too, because you may have some, I've heard some people say, I don't really want him telling me that all the time.
Right.
Like, that's annoying.
Like, I'm tired of hearing that.
I'm tired. Yeah. Some people are not words at all.
right. Words
and
of
they don't
affirmation,
want
you
to
mean?
hear that. Yeah.
Yes,
And they don't want to
right.
hear constantly the same thing over and over again.
Right, correct.
Unlike myself.
Right. Yes.
I can
you
hear
love
the same
that.
thing over and
Yeah.
over again.
Right. It's like
But
low hanging. It's like low hanging fruit for me
Right,
because I know
right.
when I do it, All I'm doing is saying out loud what I'm thinking anyway,
Yeah.
and I know it's going to actually feed your words of affirmation, so it's great. It kills two birds with
But
one
you know
stone.
what? I think some people can just show it.
True.
I can show you that I think you're sexy.
Of course.
So I
Yes.
really think it depends on the personality of the person.
I
So
agree
you have
with
to
that.
figure out, but I think that needs to be a conversation. Do you need that from me? Because there's some people who need it and they don't say it. They may not even realize it.
Right.
And it's not happening and they're not feeling great about themselves physically.
Well, the reality is, I think I show it too, and it actually goes to our
you
word of
do.
the day.
Yeah, you do both.
I do. So our word of the day. Word of the day is a word that. Our word of the day is the word gawk.
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 I don't know why I like this word. I like saying it.
I know.
I had a hard time not saying it earlier just
You
now.
said it. You said it last night during the seminar.
I did. I said that John gawks at me.
Yes.
Right? So it's stare openly,
Keep going.
and stupidly.
Yes.
I didn't know it meant.
So let me tell you what I like about this. The reason why I picked this. So it
I
means to
thought it was
stare.
just stare openly.
Okay, it means to stare openly and stupidly. But
Mm-hmm.
here's why it makes sense for us, right?
Okay.
So imagine a 7-year-old that doesn't know he's not supposed to stare at a woman's behind or breasts or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and he's just looking like,
Like he don't.
you know what I'm saying? That's gawking. So that's like the exact description of what I do to you.
Oh my goodness.
I'm constantly ogling.
Okay, ogling. That could have been the word of the
That
day.
could have been.
Ogling.
You know what I'm saying? But it means to stare openly and stupidly. Here's the point, though. In our particular case, I think that when I stare at April in that way, it actually helps her to know how I feel about her level of attractiveness. I can't stop looking. You know what I'm
Because
saying?
sometimes we'll be in a conversation and it's like you're done. Like
I'm not
can't
even listening.
I'm like, come on, dude.
I'm sorry. You have
Come
to
on.
repeat all of that. I actually didn't hear what you just said
But seriously, I think that certain people, I'm not going to say everybody
Right.
because it's not everybody, but I think certain people would love that from
Yes.
their spouse or
Yes.
from their significant other
Right.
or whatever. I think they would love that because it would let them know I'm desired.
Yes.
You want you
Yes.
like the way that I look.
Yes.
It makes you excited.
Yes.
And I think that kind of thing keeps people, trying to look good for the other too.
I agree with
I
that,
think
man.
it's motivation.
But let me say
to
one more thing.
Keep you looking good.
So this is what my argument would be. I don't think you have to do it,
Right.
but I actually think it should be your privilege to do that in a marriage.
But I do think, John, in certain relationships, that might be a must.
Agreed.
It might be a must because
Yeah.
I feel like if you didn't do it, I would be questioning constantly, does he like me? Or is he into me? Is he, you know what I'm saying? I would be questioning, even though you would be, but I think that question would come in my mind. I don't ever have to question that.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
It's never a
It's
doubt.
never a doubt. I don't
So-
ever have to deal with that.
So if you were to make your list of non-negotiables today, like you made one when you were, before you were married, but if you were to
Right.
make one today, you might put on there, I need a man who's going to make it obvious that he
Yes.
thinks I'm attractive.
Yep.
That would probably be one of your non-negotiables. And
Matter
I don't
of
know how
fact,
many others that listen to us feel that way. I
Right.
would love for you to put it in the comments if you're watching right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
What is your thing? Do you need that? Do you need
Right.
the
Do you need
affirmation?
that?
Do you like it? Is it annoying to you? Are you one of those that would hate that? Like, I
Right.
don't want to hear him tell me all
Well,
the
it's
time.
funny because
Or her.
I gave advice to a young girl who was dealing with that, and she needs what I need,
Yes.
and it wasn't making her feel good when she wasn't getting it. And I'm like, you know what? Nah, bruh, you don't have to accept that.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yes.
can say, no, this is what I need. That's like you said, it's on my non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And if I'm not getting that, I'm not going to do well in this relationship. That's the thing.
Right.
Are you going to do it? Are you going to be feeling good about yourself in this relationship? Because
Right.
if you're in a relationship where you begin to feel bad about yourself, or you are now doubt is coming in where you didn't have it.
Right. That's
You know what I'm saying?
totally
See, that's how I
different
feel like I didn't have doubt before. If in this relationship I didn't get that from you, I think I would start doubting.
thing. I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
So here's my last thing that I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
I actually feel like marriage is kind of different from other stuff. And that even though I don't have to, there are things that I accept as being part of my job as a husband that I wouldn't do probably if I was just dating someone. But once I love them at that level,
Yeah.
there are things that may be a little bit inconvenient that I will do just because I want them to understand how I feel about them. That's basically what this is for me. So this is not something I feel obligated to, like I have to. I feel like it's a privilege for me to get to be able to do that.
I like that.
You know
a
what I'm saying?
privilege to do that.
But I do think our relationship wouldn't be the same if I didn't do it. So I think it's necessary.
It's true.
You know what I'm saying?
You'd have to keep getting annoyed with me asking you, are we
Right.
good?
Yeah, right, exactly.
Do you
know what I'm
like
saying?
me?
Right.
You sure?
Do you think I look good today?
Right. Do I look good today?
You don't ever have to ask me that. You know what I'm
I
saying?
don't.
I just be gawking.
I appreciate that.
I know. Anyway, so start gawking, y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You don't have to be stupid. But
No. But you can look like
you can just stare openly.
Anyway, see y'all next time.
All right, guys.
All right.